This is lesson 44, solving systems using substitution. We can see on the first problem that they're both set equal to y. So when they're both set equal to y, then they can both be set equal to each other. So what do I mean by that? I mean that because they're set equal to y, that negative 5x plus 23 actually equals 8x minus 16. So we could write that negative 5x plus 23 equals 8x minus 16. And we're solving for x because that's the only variable we have, so we'll add 5x to both sides. So that means we're getting our x's over to the right side, which means we want our constants on the left, so we'll add 16 to both sides. And so 8x and 5x make 13x, and 23 and 16 make 39. Divide by 13, and x equals 3. So if x equals 3, the whole reason this is called substitution is now we're going to take that value and substitute it into x into either equation. So I'm going to pick the top one. So y equals negative 5x plus 23, and we're substituting in our value of x, which was 3. So negative 5 times 3 makes negative 15 plus 23, and y equals 23 minus 15 makes 8. So that's the point 3, 8. Problem 2 is set equal to y, so we're going to take that value of y and we're going to substitute it in for y in the other equation. So I'm going to rewrite this other equation, negative 6x minus, and then we're going to put in what y is. So y is 6x plus 24, so 6x plus 24. Now there's a negative sign out in front of that y, so I need to distribute that negative 1. So that makes negative 6x and a minus 24 equals 12. Negative 6x minus 6x makes negative 12x. And so let's add 24 to both sides. So we have our negative 12x on one side and 36 on the other side. Divide by negative 12. And we get x equals negative, what is that, negative 3. So if x is negative 3, we'll take this value and we'll sub it into our other equation. Y equals 6 times x plus 24, and we're substituting in a negative 3. That makes negative 18 plus 24. So y equals, what's that make, 6? So our coordinate is negative 3, 6, where those lines intersect each other. Problem 3, this second equation is solved for y, so I'm going to take that, I'm going to substitute it in for y in our other equation. Negative 2x minus 8 times y equals negative 14. And we're substituting in a 4x plus 6. We'll need to distribute negative 2x minus 32x minus 42. Minus 48. 8 times 6 is 48 equals negative 14. And now we'll combine like terms and we'll add 48 to both sides. So negative 2x and negative 32x make negative 34x. And 14 plus 48, or 48 minus 14, is 34. So we'll divide by negative 34. And we get x equals negative 1. So if x is negative 1, we can take this and substitute it in for x. in that other equation. So y equals 4 times negative 1 plus 6. Y equals negative 4 plus 6, so y equals 2. That makes the point negative 1, 2. Problem 4. Going to substitute in our value of y, in for y in the other equation. Negative 6x minus y equals negative 5. And we substitute in 8x minus 9. We need to distribute our negative 1, so we get negative 6x minus 8x plus 9 equals negative 5. Combine our like terms and move that 9 over by subtracting it. So negative 6x minus 8x makes negative 14x, and that equals negative 14. So what's x equal? X has to equal 1. And so then we'll take that value of x and substitute it in for x here. So y equals 8 times 1 minus 9. 8 minus 9 is negative 1. So that's the point 1, negative 1. That's where our solution is. Problem 5. Problem 5 isn't solved for a variable, right? So we need to solve it for a variable. Well, it looks like the second equation, it would be pretty easy to solve for y. So we get y equals 2x minus 6. So now we have got a value of y. So we're going to take this value of y, 2x minus 6, and we're going to substitute it in for y in our other equation. So we get negative 3x plus 6y equals 0, and we're going to sub in 2x minus 6. Do that in green since we had it in green. 2x minus 6. We'll distribute this 6, negative 3x plus 12x minus 36 equals 0. Let's move the 36 over to the other side, and let's combine our like terms. So that makes 9x equals 36, divide by 9, and x equals, what's that, 4? So now we can substitute this value of 4 in for x into that new equation that we made when we solved for y. So that's y equals 2x minus 6, and we're substituting in this 4. X is 4. So y equals 8 minus 6, so y equals 2. So our solution is the point 4, 2. Problem 6, similar problem, but if we look at the top equation, we can solve that for, let's solve it for x. So if we solved it for x, we need to say x plus y equals 8. If we subtracted y from both sides, we get x equals negative y plus 8. So that's our value of x, and I'm going to substitute it in for x in the other equation. So we're going to say 2x minus 4y equals negative 20, and we're substituting in negative y plus 8. So negative y plus 8, distribute our 2, negative 2y plus 16 minus 4y equals negative 20. Subtract 16 from both sides, and combine our like terms. Negative 2y and negative 4y make negative 6y. Negative 20 minus 16 makes negative 36. Divide by negative 6, and we get y equals 6. So if y is 6, we can substitute it in for y in our other equation. X equals negative y plus 8. We're substituting in a 6, so that's negative 6 plus 8, which means x equals 2. So our coordinate is 2, 6. Next one will be problem 10. This one, let's take this top equation and solve it for y. So we've got 6x minus y equals 24. To solve this for y, well, we could do two things. We could move the 6 over and then divide by -1, or we could move the y over and move the 24 over. Either way, let's move the 6 over. Negative y equals negative 6x plus 24. Divide everything by -1, and we get y equals 6x minus 24. So there's our value of y. So we're going to take this value of y, and we're going to substitute it in for y in this other equation. So negative 3x minus 6 times y equals negative 12. I'm just rewriting this equation. And we're substituting in our value of y from before that we just solved for, 6x minus 24. And we get negative 3x. We need to distribute. That makes negative 36x, and negative 6 and negative 24. Well, negative 6 times negative 2 would be 12, so that would be 120, plus 6 times 4, which is 24, so that's 144. Positive 144 equals negative 12. Let's subtract 144 from both sides. And while we're doing that, let's combine those like terms, so that makes negative 39x equals negative 100, and what's that make? 56. So if we divide that by negative 39, well, what's 39 really close to? Negative 40, right? And what's 156? That's really close to negative 160. So 40 goes into 16 4 times. Let's try that. X equals 4. And then 4, right? Minus 156, 160, that's 4 away. And that's 1 away from 40, so there's where that works out. And then we're going to take this value of x and substitute it in for x over here. So y equals 6 times x minus 24, and we're substituting in our 4. So 6 times 24 is 24 minus 24, so y equals 0. So that's the point 4, 0 is where they intersect each other. Alright, our word problem. For the following word problem, set up a system of linear equations and then solve using any method. A sporting goods store sells right-handed and left-handed baseball gloves. In 1 month, 12 gloves were sold for a total revenue of $561. So that's, okay, now it says let x equal right-handed gloves and let y equal left-handed gloves. So we've got right-handed gloves. Oh, here's our equation. So right-handed gloves plus left-handed gloves equals, how many gloves did we sell? 12 gloves. So the second equation then, if the right-handed gloves sell for 45, that would be 45x plus, and the left-handed gloves sold for 52 plus 52y, and they sold for a total of 561. And so our solution, we'll solve this. Let's solve the first equation for x. So that would be x equals negative y plus 12. And we'll substitute this in for x in our second equation. So we've got 45 times negative y plus 12 equals 52y plus 52y equals 561. So now we need to distribute our 45, negative 45y plus 12 times 45 makes 540 plus 52y equals 561. So we want to subtract 540 from both sides, and we'll combine our 52y and 45y. That makes 7y equals, and that would be 21 divided by 7. And so we say y equals 3, so that means we sold 3 left-handed gloves. If we sold 3 left-handed gloves, how many right-handed gloves did we sell? That would be 9 right-handed gloves. So the solution is the point, sorry, that's X right-handed gloves, so the point 93 would be our solution.